Alright, so I'm back again with a different subject right now. Basically, I wanted to explain what's the difference between live and replay coaching, which one should you go for. Now, let's talk about live coaching at the beginning, right? So, I generally think there is no advantage of live coaching. In fact, it's always better to watch your replays, from my opinion, right? It gives you more time to think, and it gives the coach more time to think as well, right? That's definitely one thing. Aside of that, a lot of people have problems, especially in lower ranks, with attention management, to split up their attention to you, to the game. And some people also play mechanical champions, and the problem is the coach itself. He can't really give you like skills up front, like in a live game scenario. If you play, for me it happened, people played for the first time Zed, and yes, and I tried my best to explain them their mechanics, but in live game it's so difficult when you're already low ranked and you don't really have enough experience with the champion itself. So if you ever, and I know lots of people are impatient, right? The main reason why people go for live coaching, because they are not patient enough, because replay is gonna bore them. So that's what like many people don't want to go for. So live coaching is kind of like something you want, but it's not the thing you actually need, from my opinion, right? I can't actually think of one advantage. Maybe you save a bit more time, you're gonna play ranked, and at the same time you're gonna get coached, so I guess you get some LP in meantime, right? So there is something into it, but it's generally worse if you are looking to get the most value out of the coaching session, right? That's my opinion about live coaching. Now, what else there to say about it? There is like another issue, with live coaching, right? So, for example, there will be some games in lower ranks where some people are trolling your lane, or maybe you have a lots of AFKs, or you don't have a jungler, the jungler goes AFK, whatever. So it can happen that maybe the opponent is absolutely just trolling, and we can't really learn much out of the live game, and then we can't do anything, like you are in a live game, and we are just there. So if you get into a really bad, awkward scenario, then you just have to go through it, right? Unless if you want to pause and you watch it, and you want to pause, it's fine. You can watch then later the replay of it. That can totally work. But generally, it's not a good idea, because often, like, the client itself gets really uncomfortable, because they think they're gonna be judged by their misplace or whatever. Now that won't happen, of course, right? But there are scenarios where it actually works out, live coaching. Usually, it's good to get live coach. Now, ironically enough, if you're already good at your champion, like you have to know its mechanics first of all to be coached, right? If you don't know the mechanics of your champions, that's fine. If you play something like Garen or Rudir, or really basic champions that don't take you too much skill, right? Then that can be fine. Like, there is a world where it actually can work out, but it's still less valuable than replay coaching, right? Now, from the other hand, let's jump to the replay coaching, right? Replay coachings are generally better because it allows me more time to explain to people what's going on. For example, when I live coach people, it feels more so that I'm giving out commands, and I almost never have enough time to explain something else, because the game is in constant motion, right? The game doesn't pause, right? We don't have time to pause, to think, to explain, right? To understand for the client itself, right? We just have a low amount of time to get to the understandment, right? And then, like, things are constantly going on, right? So that's the advantage of replay coaching, because you have more time to understand everything. Also, I have a drawing pen, an epic pen, which makes it easier to explain to people, like, everything basically. I don't even have to say examples, like legit everything, right? Also, it allows us to get into more details, such as checking stats of the enemy champions, their ability cooldowns, what abilities to play around, to visually see. Like, the client has to visually see that how much damage certain abilities they do if they are more so like lower rank, right? Like, if they're not aware of their matchup, or often I know from my own head, of course, like most of the abilities how they function, but I like to hover my mouse on abilities, so like the client itself sees visually how much damage, how much cooldown, how much CC does an ability last, right? So definitely there is a lot of advantage in replays. Also, you can pause, fast forward, right? So one of the good things is you can fast forward in replays, which means you're gonna save more time. For example, you're coming out of base and you're walking top lane, for example, right? As a top laner, right? And usually it takes like 30 seconds to walk up to the top lane. And you could just skip that. Every time you recall, you go back, we could just skip those 30 seconds, which will slowly add up, right? Um, then again, you're gonna save some time with that, right? Of course, we can even fast up the game. If you're mostly just CSing, slowly pushing in a wave, then we don't have to watch it in a normal speed because often there is not too much to say, that can happen, right? So speeding up can give you more time, right? Which is more valuable for you, of course, right? And now it comes to the attention management, as I mentioned in live coaching, right? You have a way better attention management when it comes to the map, when it comes to your kit, when it comes to your gameplay. Like as a more so beginner, you have like you're concentrating so well on last hitting, on using your abilities correctly, right? And you have like less time to see the game as a whole, right? So that's like one of the things that like the replay is of course gonna solve, right? As well, it's easier to generally explain more mechanical things with Epic Pen, right? With my drawing tool, because in game, in a live game, it's some mechanic, like there's some mechanical champions. It's like so hard to explain to someone how to pull off normally a combo, where to position, because like everything just goes on, and until I explain it, we might just lose a kill window already, until everything goes off from my mouth, right? So that can happen.